I play a lot of the mobile game Two Dots, which for those that don't know is a little puzzle game for Android and iOS. It's nothing spectacular or groundbreaking, but the 5 lives thing means I can quickly jump on and kill 20 minutes every couple hours or so when I'm on the loo or waiting for potatoes to parboil. And since it's a free mobile game, it of course is full of 2 things, microtransactions and ads. Now I don't have to tell you that the former is bad, but that leaves me with very few of the in-game items, and since I need help through some of the harder levels, I'm left with one option if I wish to continue. Watching ads. And since this isn't my first stint getting deep into a mobile game, I've seen a lot of ads for a lot of games. We've gone through the me versus my girlfriend phase where a game is played at a low level, then again at a high level. We've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger promoting mobile games. We've seen Raid Shadow Legends advertising on Clash of Clans before it had every YouTube channel except this one on their payroll. But this new slew of ads I've seen are different. I mean, it's going to take a little while to explain, but just take a little look at these. Now, at first glance, these adverts look like they're advertising, well, decent games? Not good, but a decent low-rent puzzler to kill a few minutes. I mean, in reality, I'd expect a game with graphics like this to be basically one decent mechanic that's weighed down with dozens of terrible adverts. But the truth is more underhanded than even that. These games advertised in these adverts are just match 3 games. The gameplay shown in these advertisements, as far as I can tell, is not in the games at all. In fact, here's some gameplay of these games on the screen now, and as you can see, it's nothing like the adverts say they are. But so what, a game is lying about ads, big deal. Well, I've been a little bored in the week between Christmas and New Year, so I did some digging. So these adverts I played you at the top were for Gardenscapes, Fishdom, and Mana Matters, 3 games developed by a studio called Playrix. Playrix is a company based in Russia but with its headquarters based in Dublin, almost certainly for tax avoidance reasons. The company launched its first game, Fishdom, in 2008, which was a match 3 game. After a brief departure from that for making Township in 2011, which was a city building sim that saw middling success, the company decided to sort of just remake Fishdom over and over in different themes. First gardening themed, then a house themed spin-off of that game, then a jungle one, and then another house themed one. And all of these games seem to fall into the same practice of deceitful advertising. It seems that Playrix's entire strategy is to just roll out these adverts that are basically just lies about their games to get you to download them. And it's working. The Scapes games constantly top the most downloaded charts, they've won awards, and the company and both of its founders are all individually valued at $1 billion each. This awful strategy of blatantly lying to potential customers seems to be working. And it's not even like I'm the first person to notice this either. There's subreddits full of people, Medium posts, confused Quora posts, all complaining about these terrible fake ads. People are so very, very aware that these ads are fake and terrible that even the UK's Advertising Standards Agency has determined that they're misleading. To quote their report on the matter,
"Because the ads were not representative of the games they were purported to feature, we concluded they were misleading. The ads breached 3 CAP code rules: misleading advertising, qualification and exaggeration. The ads must not appear again in the form complained of. we told Playrix to ensure that their future advertising presented gameplay which was representative of the games they advertised.
That ruling, for the record, was made in September 2020, and I'm still seeing the very same adverts that ruling deemed misleading, so it appears to have gone completely ignored. But yeah, this isn't a big secret I've stumbled upon or anything. People are aware that this is happening, but why? When I script videos like this, I like to start with a what, then go into a how, and then a why. But the why here is where things get a little complicated. This, like anything on the internet, has been ruined by the algorithm. By the way, like, comment, and subscribe if you don't want to see the same algorithm eat me! The markets have changed drastically in the last few years. Ads used to be sold on a demographic-based targeting system, which is where a company serves you ads based on things like your age, location, and things you've said you like. But in recent years, this has given way to an algorithmic approach. In the old way, somebody would be served an ad for a New York-based business if they've told an app they live in New York or have just booked a flight to New York. But in this new algorithmic-based system, adverts can be served based on combinations of factors, including demographics, but also data scraped from web searches and cookies. For example, someone in the average age bracket for buying a house who has also visited pages of high-end shops may be served ads about mortgages, since they are algorithmically determined to be more likely to buy a house. And let me tell you, researching this stuff is fucking depressing. I mean, all of it is. It's radically out of touch, borderline sociopathic tech bros telling each other how to best manipulate people into using their app or their service more. And of course I know that all advertising is gross and manipulative, especially here in late stage capitalism, but now that they've got a new set of toys known as the algorithm to play with, all the insidiousness gets dialed up a notch. They're not just persuading people who might like their product, they're using a program they don't understand to persuade people that they do already like the thing. Here's a quote from one of those articles.
The age of algorithmic marketing does not mean the end of targeting or the human marketer. It marks the evolution of the human marketer. The glint from the chrome Cadillac convertible era of the madman marketer has officially disappeared below the horizon. In the old icon's place gleams the eerie light of the mad scientist marketer. Still human, but now part machine.
Doesn't that just sound like supervillain shit? You can just imagine the author stroking a white cat as they say that. And that's like their final full stop on the article. That bit is the bit they want the article to be remembered for. But back to mobile gaming. They have fully embraced the algorithmic advertising model. And since advertisers like Google and Facebook are realizing that the algorithmic marketing is more valuable, they've all produced their own proprietary black box advertising models that are using AI to evolve better and better ways to more accurately serve ads to people. This means that not even the people who wrote the algorithm in the first place know why certain ads are being served to certain people, and in turn why they're being clicked on, simply that they are. So now they don't have to bother manually targeting every demographic they want, which is handy for 3 reasons. Trying to target every possible combination of demographics you think might like a game would be ridiculously time consuming, creating ads tailored to each demographic. It would also be really expensive to create all those ads, and most of them wouldn't work, so it would be a colossal waste of money. It's way more efficient money and work-wise to just experiment, make weird ads, and test them all by releasing them all. Now, in theory, this means running experiments to see whether audiences will respond better to an advert with an orc versus a dragon when advertising your fantasy game. But in reality, this means that advertisers are now being rewarded for creating more and more outlandish and audacious adverts. And since these ridiculous adverts don't have to pass through the testing phase, they just roll on through to customers. And if every single app game is doing this same thing, that means that every app company has to step up their game with the ridiculousness. And the ridiculousness works, apparently. But that opens up 2 more questions. First off, why? And second of all, why are these deliberately misleading adverts allowed on the platform? I think we'll address that second one first. I think it'll be quicker. It's because they make money for Google and Facebook.
It's perfect for you. Perfect for your family. It's perfect for your friends. A product you can trust. You can totally rely on. A product you can believe in. Just enjoy your time with it.
That's my money dance. That's the dance I do when a corporation makes a bunch of money by lying to us. Well, I don't do it every time or else I'd literally never stop dancing. But I mean, that is it, isn't it? They allow it because not only do they make money off the purchase of the ad space, but Google especially gets to double dip. When people download the game and purchase the predatory microtransactions, they get a cut of that. So why wouldn't they allow it? Making money is literally the only thing these companies care about. We've seen that when they refer to players as users, categorized purely by the amount they spend on the microtransactions. We've seen this in Google shutting down product after product, despite the amount of people who use them and need them simply because they don't make enough money. And Facebook, well, they'll sell your data at the drop of a hat to anyone with a big enough $ sack. We've seen that time and time again since, well, the inception of Facebook. And, well, they're not illegal yet. Yeah, we saw that one ASA case here in the UK, but the Federal Trade Commission in the US is, as usual, behind the times when it comes to technology, so its advertising and truth codes are woefully inept when it comes to this sort of thing. And people who know way more about this sort of thing than I do don't think it will be easy to get the FTC to make a ruling anyway, as mentioned in this article on Mobile Dev Memo.
It's unclear whether the FTC will set a precedent over misleading ads for free games. Since gameplay becomes apparent before purchases are made available, it might be difficult to claim that any payments were directly the result of seeing an ad. In 2012, the FTC fined Jess A Digital with fraud over an advertising campaign that misled viewers into thinking their phones were infected with a virus. This fine, however, was mostly related to the fact that users that clicked on the ads were prompted to buy a subscription to one of Jess's services, and not to the fact that the ads had nothing to do with the presence of a virus on the phones of the viewers.
So it's your typical underhanded, corporatist, capitalist nonsense. It makes money and isn't technically illegal, so fuck it, right? The ads work and that's the most important thing. But why? I've read a lot of really vomit-inducing marketing nonsense for this, and the phrase they're all getting off on nowadays is mobile user acquisition, which is marketing bullshit for getting new players. And adverts get new players in two ways, and just a warning, there's gonna be more marketing bullshit incoming. The first way an advert can bring on new players is by direct action. Put simply, this means when you see an ad for a game and go, that looks like a game I would enjoy, I'm going to download that game. So if you're like me and enjoy minimalist matching games like 2 Dots, being served an advert for a similar minimalist matching game and clicking on it would be a direct action user acquisition for the company. Simple. Easy. And then there's indirect action, which is what these fake, misleading adverts do. All indirect action has to do is get the knowledge of the game in your head. Increasing the visibility of the game as much as possible, regardless of the content of the ads, will make you more likely to download the game if you see it on, say, a promoted page in the Google Play Store. We've discussed familiarity bias on this channel before, but basically what it means is if you're served with 2 promoted ads on the App Store, you're more likely to choose the one that you're familiar with, even if that familiarity came from, for example, these terrible misleading ads. The ad's job isn't primarily to make you click it there and then, just to get the brand and the idea of the game in your head for later. But even then, that's not the last layer of marketing bullshit. The marketing team at Playrix have gathered data about the kind of games that people who play Gardenscapes also play. So the kind of gameplay they showcase in the fake ads is the kind of gameplay that Gardenscapes players, and therefore potential Gardenscapes players, also enjoy. For comparison, this is like if I knew that most people who like pizza also like nachos. So if I own a pizza restaurant and I only advertise pizza, I'm only going to get people who want pizza on board. But if I start advertising nachos, then serve people pizza instead, they'll still enjoy the meal because they like pizza, even though they wanted nachos.
If you focus on what these fake ad creatives are about, you'll see that they're a combo of all 3 of these genres. There's a bit of resource management, finding objects and using them to interact with other objects, and what seems like a very rich story-adventure game. All this means that there's a not insignificant probability that once a player that responded positively to this seemingly misleading ad installs, opens, and starts playing the game, they'll enjoy it and continue.
This strategy of, well, we're lying to them, but in a specific way so that what they receive, they're likely to like anyway, so it's fine, is so brazenly deceptive that in a way, I'm impressed at the solid brass bollocks on Playrix for pulling a stunt like this. But as the market gets more and more saturated with more and more churned out crap, other companies are going to have to start resorting to this and worse practices, unless someone does something about it. And I don't see Google, Facebook, or any of the other ad platforms stopping them out of the goodness of their hearts, given their track record of being the most greedy corporate bastards this side of Epic Games. I did reach out to Playrix to see if they wanted to comment on their advertising strategies, but unsurprisingly they didn't want to say anything. So to this part in the video that I usually have some sort of call to action or something, but this is a huge fucking problem. Ad companies have realised that they can lie to our faces, and it actually works out better for them than an honest ad campaign would. And the companies that host these ads, for example Google, take a cut from the in-app purchases that these games so predatorily thrive on, so there's little incentive to stop this practice from continuing. It's not really an issue that this tiny little fewer than 10k subs channel can really solve, is it? At the very least, being aware of these problems can help. Spreading videos like this and the ever-growing ads versus reality series on YouTube can help people learn about the underhanded methods that these companies use. It won't make you immune to the adverts, but it'll make you less vulnerable, and if we all pressure places like the FTC and the ASA, well, something might change. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to Casey Explosion, Alicia from Transparency, ThatJess from ThatJess Videos, and Conrad Mishuk from Kakos Industries for doing the voices in this video. Thanks to everyone on screen right now for helping me on Patreon. This video is a little bit outside of the realm of stuff I usually do, so thanks to the patrons for sticking around and letting me do my thing. And a big, huge shout out to the fresh cheese bags of the month. Alex Bryson, Clouds Haberberg, Ethan Safron, The Horse of Many Names, Logan Myers, Mulloy, Ruby Lombax Arts, The Magpie Magus, Neuroticanarchy, swishyclang, whatwouldjedido, and our two executive producers, Tom Dolan and the flippity flop philanthropist, Edward Valentine. Love you, bye.